What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So we're back in the garage today working on the Camaro. I'm actually in the middle of doing the bell housing, where I just realized the bell housing didn't fit and I ordered the correct one, but I figured I had time. Instead of wasting the day, we might as well start working on something else. So we're going to start putting the harnesses in. Now the ones I have in here, there's no date on them. The track kind of gave me a problem last time I was there because there's no date. I don't know how old they are. I've had them at least for 2 years. And we're going to replace these with a set of these Camlock G-force harnesses. Now I got 2 of them just because I wanted them to match. And I originally went with the non-Camlock style, but driving this thing on the street, the Camlock is definitely nice to have, and it's a lot easier than fumbling with those big clunky latches. So we're gonna put 2 of these in. The only difference between these and the ones that are in the car now, those are like hook in. These actually have to get bolted in. Plus also these harnesses have a crotch strap. Those don't. So these are 5-point, these are 4. But to get around the bolt-in issue, for the bottom pieces, I'm just gonna keep the hooks that I have here, but instead of the harness latching around this eyelet, I'm just going to strap it down to the bottom of that and use these as a bolt. And that's the same for this and the other side. The backs, I'm just gonna loop around the harness bar. And then the only thing I really have to make a space for is the crotch strap, because I don't have anything for that. But luckily my seats do accommodate that. We got a hole there for the strap to go through. I just got to see where I'm going to secure it underneath the car. All right, so I got one of the harnesses all laid out here. Now, being I'm not bolting the back of this in, these pieces here could come off. I'm actually going to have to go back online on YouTube and research the video that I used to tie these. I'll put a link to it in the description. I also had to find another one of these trim rings. And I got the seat, it was missing one. I think I could get a whole set through Corbeau. See, these are a lot wider too. I think these are 3-inch. The ones that were in here are 2. All right. Now I do have nuts on the other side of these, so that's threaded through. And then I put a nut on the other side. All that's left to do is mount the crotch strap and loop these guys around. But before I do that, I have the seat right where I usually keep it when I'm driving. And the rule for mounting the crotch strap, it has to be mounted behind the chest line of the driver, meaning the actual connection point of where this is going to be bolted to the car has to be behind, kind of just behind the seat. So I was initially going to use the brace here. There's like this hump in the floor with thicker steel that the seat's actually bolted to. It's not just a regular floor pan. I was gonna bolt it up here, but the problem with that is obviously it's way too far forward. So to remedy that, I'm gonna do the same thing, but with the brace going across the floor for the back seat. So if I move this up, you kind of see the same hump here. I'm going to make a hole here, probably make a hole under the car in the floor pan, just so I can get the nut underneath, so I can tighten this down real good. And I'm gonna mount that right in the center like that. Then the crotch strap comes up in the middle here. And then when the seat's actually in the position where I keep it, that hump is right there. which is pretty much right behind, or at least right in line with the chest line when I'm driving. So I think that's gonna work good. I just have to go to the hardware store, get some actual bolts so I could bolt that and that one in. That side really isn't required. Like I said, I'm just doing double just so it matches. When it comes time to replace this harness, that one's gonna be staying in there. It doesn't really matter if that one's expired. This is the one that counts. All right, so I just came back from the hardware store. Went to visit Dee Dee. Not a sponsor still. And I went a little overboard. I got these really heavy duty bolts and these really thick washers. Now I'm just gonna come in and cut a slot in the carpet here. Actually, I might even have to unbolt the seat. So what I just did was drill directly through the brace here that holds the seatbelt, and then I'm gonna kind of brace that up with a washer. And then I went through the second layer, I don't know if you can see that, which is the actual floorboard. And then I'm gonna go underneath, open up that bottom one up a little more, that way I can get the nut through there. So I'm just gonna put a couple of washers in here, as well as underneath, just to brace the metal a little bit more. Straight still, kind of? Yeah, it should be fine. All right, so I got this tightened down. I put the 2 washers on the top. I put a really thick washer underneath. Then I put the lock nut. And this thing is really secure and solid. And I just had my friend ratchet the top when I was holding the bottom because it kept spinning. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. But other than that, all the mounting is pretty much done. I'm gonna put the seat back into place. We're gonna throw the 2 shoulder pieces through the seat. And I'll show you guys how I get them all wrapped up, tie up the excess, do the same for the other side, and then we'll be good to go. I think the next step is going to be just installing a seat brace. All right, so I just spent some time sitting in here trying to get the crotch belt perfect, and it took a little adjusting, but I got it at the perfect length. Basically, you want this, the whole purpose of this is to keep the belt from riding up and actually keep the lap belt on your lap. So you want this to be long enough where when you're sitting in the car, the cam lock is pretty much right there on your lap. So when these parts here are actually connected, this is going to stay down your lap and not actually ride up. I've had that problem with the Corbeaus. When they're actually fully tightened down, the lap belts are actually kind of pulling up here, and that's what the 5-point is going to prevent. So just a quick one more look at this. We have that mounted right back there, nice and secure. Same thing I'm going to do for the other side. As I mentioned, that side really isn't important because nobody's over there when I'm racing anyway, but we're still gonna hook it up the right way. Last step now, I'm gonna come in here, get these wrapped around here. We'll do one final adjustment before I tie up the slack, and I'll show you guys how they fit. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is get these retainers on here. We're gonna come, I'm gonna roll it around the bar. Come back under this way. Feed it down. And come back over through here. Like that. All right, I'm all strapped in here. I think everything is adjusted how I like it. You can see the lap belt. It's pretty much right on my lap. That's where this crotch strap is going to keep that from coming up. I'm in here pretty tight. I can still bring these down a little more if I wanted to. So there's plenty of adjustment if I had to loosen it or tighten it. yeah, cam lock's in a good place. And I think I'm ready to go. I also got these Corbeau pads, just because the G-Force pads, they're supposed to be blue, but I ordered them, they came in, they were like purple, and they looked absolutely ridiculous. So I sent those back. I got the Corbeau ones to match the seats. And best part about this, the cam lock, just like that, you're out. You don't have to fumble around with that big bulky latch. I initially bought the ones just with the latch because they were all way cheaper. I think they were like 80 bucks a harness opposed to 160, but the cam lock, I mean, especially driving this thing around, way better and easier for getting in and out really quick. I'm gonna hop out. We will wrap up the slack, just give you guys an idea of how they look quick here. So I have them adjusted nice and even, all tied up back here. I'm probably going to put zip ties or something here just to keep this from moving, because they were complaining about this when I was getting teched, that these can slide around. So maybe if I put a zip tie in here tight enough, that'll keep that from happening. And then I'm just gonna roll this up with a zip tie just so it looks a little neater. And yeah, we'll go ahead and tackle the other side. All right guys, so it is the next day. I got the passenger side all taken care of. Got the slack all wrapped up and zip tied, and I really like the way these things look. I mean, compared to having the black, everything would kind of like blended together in here. I mean, I know the door panels are gray, but still just gray and black. It's kind of refreshing to have a little color inside the interior now, especially since they're blue, and obviously they match for other reasons. So I think now we're gonna go ahead and install the seat brace, because also when I was at the track, along with finding out the harnesses were expired, they were complaining that my seat has a good amount of play, and I am using the factory 4th gen sliders. You go forward, back, obviously, tilt it, so there's kind of like a lot going on with the slider. But the brace is pretty much just going to bolt to the back of the seat, and then the part bolts to the harness bar here. It has an adjustment, so you can still push the seat forward and back. So we have the plate that goes on the back of the seat, and then there's like this clamp here, and then this piece will actually move up and down with the seat, so you can still adjust the seat. It's not like it's going to be fixed in one position forever. So this is going to connect to the harness bar, the plate is going to go onto the seat, and then the bar is going to go in between. That's what's going to slide in and out of here. So I think I'm going to slide my harnesses out the back, throw them where the back seats used to be, and then I got to remove this cover so we can get to the bolt heads for the plate. Actually, I think I can all right, I could get to that pretty easy. This thing's actually kind of rusty. You see that? Just open the box now. But we're gonna put this on the bar first, because that's gonna determine where the plate needs to go on the seat. I guess that's basically centered. Yep, I looked through the back window. That's pretty much right in center with the seat. All right, so the cool thing about this is that it's fully adjustable. It just sits on this pivot here, so you can mount it at whatever angle is gonna fit your car. The only thing I have to do here is heat up the ends of this and kind of curve them to the back of the seat. I'm not sure if there's a height where this needs to be. I mean, the seat is flatter down here, but that looks a little bit ridiculous. So what I'm probably gonna end up doing is just mounting it right here. And then I'll heat this up or put in the vise, bend these to kind of curve it to the seat. We'll drill some holes, get it mounted up, and that's really it. Only thing we have to do then is just tighten the clamps down on the actual roll bar. All right, so I managed to bend this plate just slightly, and I think I'm going to put it like right here, because I mean the seat gets flat all the way down here. The curve's a little too much up here, but right here is where it seems to fit the best. And that is actually just below the foam pad, where the harnesses pass through, like by the headrest. All right. This seat's fiberglass, obviously, so drilling it is absolutely effortless. Those are just gonna sit back there forever. Now, I didn't get any instructions in the box with this. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory as far as the installation goes, but they give you like these washers. I'm not sure if they go on the outside, like under the bolt head and under the nut, or if they have to go inside, like in between. I'm trying to get them in between just because there's a lot of play. So basically, I don't know if they go like that or if they go like that, but I'm trying to get them in between. Because with the washers in there, this thing doesn't move around. They're just really hard getting them in there. It's just a really tight fit. Well, I keep my seat basically where it is. So I'm just going to center this up. Okay, that is a lot sturdier. Like, that doesn't move for shit now. All right, not bad. That was pretty easy to do too. So I'm just gonna get everything cleaned up and then we'll wrap this video up. All right, so I got the harnesses back into place. I just moved the seat back a little bit because I was a little too close to the wheel once the brace was tightened down. But this feels really good. Harnesses are done. Only thing I really got to do is clean up in here, give it a little vacuum, little fiberglass bits and shit. But other than that, I'm really happy with these harnesses. I really like the cam lock. I love the blue. So next video, we're going to be doing the bell housing finally. I'm just waiting for it to come today. I ordered it on Amazon. It's supposed to be coming today by 9 p.m. So I'm hoping to actually get started on shooting that today, get the bell housing in, possibly get the transmission in sometime this week. And then hopefully by the end of August, early September, the latest, just in time for the good cool weather boost season, we'll be back at the track with this thing, hopefully hitting consistent 10s. But I think I'm gonna end this one here, guys. If you wanna go check out the harnesses or pick them up, I'm gonna link them below. I'm also gonna put the link for the non-cam lock version in case you're on a budget. I think those cost about 80 bucks opposed to the 160. But as usual, that is gonna do it for this video, guys. So remember, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in a few days.